not trusting women. We need to lie. Is it our DNA to be manipulative? Oh no! Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hope the world is lovely wherever you are. This week I'm going to be talking about the phenomenon that I think is not trusting women. I think we as a society have a real problem with just not trusting women, and it's just, I think at its core it just comes down to that, and we see it play out in so many different areas of our life. And so this week I want to talk about some of those examples where we see it play out, where are some of the areas where we really don't believe women and why it's such a problem, and why I think this is, why I think that we have a problem trusting women. And it's not just men who don't trust women, it's women as well, and I'm going to talk about that, why I think that is, and just why it's not good. Fundamentally, like, women, you can trust women, like, it's just, this shouldn't even be an issue, and I just think it's so interesting. And obviously we can't solve any problem if we don't talk about it first, so we're here to talk about it, and I hope you learned something, and I hope at the end of the video you will be like, oh my god, all those times where I didn't trust women were so silly and I need to get over myself. And then you'll be happier, and we'll all be happier. So let's get stuck into the video. So I have a couple different kind of theories for this. You know, a lot of these are things that I've kind of read already, or the things that I've taught myself. And I think, yeah, it's just good to have a discussion, like whether you agree or don't agree, or whether I'm right or wrong or whatever. I think it's interesting to pick things apart and just have a think. So this is kind of a food for thought, kind of chatty video. And so I think one main thing, it's a couple of reasons, but I think one thing that I think it comes down to is, like, we have an idea in our heads of how women should be, and we are kind of fed this narrative, I guess, or this kind of portrayal of women in a certain way, you know. And that could be things like, okay, they should be quiet, they should be pretty, they should be subservient, they should be loving, nurturing, caring, all these things. We have an idea of how women should be, and I think when women then don't live up to that, or don't like subscribe to that, or just don't do those things, they step outside the box, I think we're then kind of inherently like suspicious of those women, because we're like, well, you're not doing what you're meant to be doing, and that makes sense. It's not like you know, it's terrible and like outrageous. It makes sense. If you think someone should be doing something and they don't do that thing, you're gonna be suspicious. Like, you might not trust that person. And I think, like, it starts with getting rid of the notion that women are this or this, they're in a certain box. Because then when they step outside that box, we're like, oh no, they have to be trusted now. Whereas if we didn't think that women were A, B, and C, or that they were in this box when they did other things, like step outside them, or like you know, aren't loving, or aren't maternal, or don't want to wear makeup, or have short hair, like, we wouldn't distrust that so much, because we would already have in our heads that women can do anything they like. And so yeah, I personally think that's kind of a big one, and I just think we should just get rid of everything we think women are and just allow them to be, and then we wouldn't distrust them so much when they do those things. And it's like, I think it's interesting to compare it to men. Like, we have so many representations of men and depictions of men that they can be anything they want. Like, there's no box for them to fit into, or for them to then step outside. Like, when men do anything, we're not like, oh, that's very different now. I mean, obviously, yeah, there are like stereotypical, like, you know, gender things, and like if men, you know, say like wear a dress or like have their nails painted, we're like, oh, that's interesting. But I don't think it's on the same level as, like, fundamentally now not trusting men. Like, you might just think that particular man is a bit eccentric or a bit different, but you don't then distrust the entire gender because of that one man. Whereas with women, because we just think all women are the same because we're only portrayed in one particular way, if one woman steps outside the line, or like you can't trust that one woman, it then speaks for all of us. So it's just a lot more pervasive, I think, and a lot more dangerous. So like, it's similar, but I just think men have so many representations, can be so multifaceted, that like it just doesn't have the same impact if like one man does something that's a bit out of the ordinary. I also wanted to mention just like that line that you always hear, that like women are crazy. I mean, like, if you don't think that people don't trust women, like, how many times have you heard women being described as crazy? Like, that's just like what we are. And it's gotten to the point where women themselves are like, yeah, I'm just crazy, you know, or like they start to internalize that themselves. And I'm just like, no, we're not. Like, first of all, crazy is actually an ableist term, just for anyone who didn't know, so I'm trying not to use it as much as I do. But like, if you're fed this narrative that women are crazy, like you're not gonna trust a crazy person. Like, do you know what I mean? And so I think it's all these kind of messages that we receive, like, that make us just not want to trust women. So I wanted to put that in there, and just whenever you hear someone saying, oh, women are crazy, maybe just have a think. Just have a nose. So then some just kind of, I suppose, the major examples of where we saw not trusting women kind of play out. And I think just one of them I wanted to mention is like, just say like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, the election. I just think like that for me was just absurd. And if you go through the stats, like everyone thought she's like crooked Hillary, she's lying. And if you actually go, they have like literally stats of like the speeches he gave and like the amount, and they still do it now, the amount of times he lies in all of his speeches. And yet she was deemed the liar. And he was deemed, oh yeah, he's being brave. He's literally lying through his teeth. And yet she was deemed the liar. Like why is that? Sexism. I'll give you a hint. It's just insane. So like that, and like she was telling the truth. I mean, like I'm sure, yeah, there were probably one or two spins in there, one or two maybe exaggerations, or try to curb something. I'm like, absolutely, like I'm not saying that. But for the most part, she was telling the truth and he was actually the liar. He was actually lying through the truth on so many occasions. And we just saw that play. I was like, oh yeah, she can't be trusted, she can't, like, and it's just, yeah, that was just one kind of major example. If you were looking for one example of how women are perceived as liars. It's also so prevalent, obviously, in like sexual assault allegations, and we'll talk about a lot more about that later in the video. And then in things like healthcare, like medical care, you see it so often that women are like just not believed for the symptoms, blah, blah, blah. So those are some of the areas, and we'll talk about them now more in a second. So those are just some of the examples that kind of come to mind straight away where we don't trust women that actually have really dangerous consequences. And like that's one thing I want to talk about as well. It's just like, it's not just like, oh, like we don't trust women, like fine. Like not trusting women has really big consequences that are like really dangerous and really important. And so like that's also just like why we need to kind of get over this whole like women can't be trusted thing. So yeah, so to kind of delve a bit more into those, like if you think about like the medical professional, like there are countless stories of women who have gone to doctors, male and female I guess, and have said I have this symptom, and have been just turned away, have been told that they're stressed. That's a big one. Have literally been told, oh you're just stressed. Yeah, and it's like, no, they literally have cancer, or they have heart disease, or they have like PCOS or any kind of reproductive menstrual like condition. Like they're like literally studies done, like so it's so dangerous. There's also studies that women are given like significantly less painkillers than men because our pain isn't believed, again because we are deemed as like crazy and being dramatic. So when we go in and say, okay, we're in violent pain, we're not believed. If we are somewhat believed, we're given less painkillers than men. Like these things have really bad repercussions. And so like, yeah, the healthcare system is just a huge one where women just are not believed, and it is just so, and I just want to encourage everyone, like if your doctor isn't believing you, or if you're not getting like the attention you deserve, like go to another doctor. Like it's perfectly fine to get a second opinion. Like doctors are just like everything else. Like there could be good ones, there could be bad ones, you know what I mean? It's just like just because they're doctors doesn't mean they're all good. Like if you don't like what you're hearing, go somewhere else and get the service you deserve. But I think a lot of that is just a cover up, like for like just medical professions literally just don't care about women and their health, and so they need to make up the fact that we're lying to make them feel better about themselves, or to like, and like they might not even be aware that they actually don't care about women, but they're just like, yeah, well you're making it up, so therefore I don't have to treat you, but like you actually just don't care about women. So again, it's like it's just, we're fed the narrative that women are liars, but it's like, okay, you actually just don't care about women's health. So yeah, that's why. Another reason I think why people think women are liars is that like we're literally taught to be dishonest in our lives, and this is like so important. We're literally taught to like sit there and be a good little girl, like quiet, like don't speak. We're taught to not speak up if someone like does wrong by us or makes us uncomfortable. We're literally taught to put up with it, like, oh, like don't cause a fuss now. Like if someone in your family like abuses you, like, oh, like don't embarrass them now, don't be giving out about them now, because that's not fair to them. So like we're literally taught not to speak about it. Like, you know, good girls aren't angry, they don't get angry at stuff. So like when things are done to us, we literally don't speak up. We literally pretend like, oh no, it's fine. Like we're literally taught to lie. And so like this video isn't being like, oh, women don't lie. It's looking at like why we might feel the need to. So that's like super important. And what's so funny is then that like so often we are like then punished for lying, or punished for being liars. It's like we literally are told our entire lives to lie. And it's like if we had told the truth, if we were like, well, yeah, that person did that to me, we literally wouldn't have been believed anyway. So it's just like, oh my god. Again, it just comes down to women just cannot win. If we lie, we're punished. If we tell the truth, we're not believed, we're then punished. And it's maddening. It's madness. Another super interesting one is not trusting women with makeup on. And I think this is just outrageous. We're literally like, again, fed the narrative that women need to be pretty, we need to wear makeup, blah blah blah. And then you see all those memes that are like, yeah, like you wonder why we don't trust. It'll be like a picture of like a woman, the same woman with like a full face of makeup on and then no makeup on, and the meme would be like, and you wonder why we don't trust women because we wear some makeup. Like one, like we're literally told that we need to be pretty, so, and we're punished for not wearing it, but then we're punished for wearing too much of it because we look different and you can't trust us. But again, it's just the fact that like men just don't trust women, so they make up the lie that, oh yeah, it's because you wear makeup and it's not your real face. But it's like you actually just don't trust women, and then you're just making yourself to be liars. But again, it's just like wear whatever makeup you want. Like, yeah, we look different with makeup on. Like, who cares? And like also like the best response to that meme that I saw was like, oh, you don't trust women because we wear a bit of makeup. It's like, we don't trust men because you murder us. Like, boo-hoo. Like, there's a big difference. Like, oh, that one just is insane. And I see it floating around a lot, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Something really interesting that I saw as well is that like being punished for asking like direct questions. So like the example I saw was like, you know, if a woman is in a workplace and she, say there's like a load of like really heavy boxes and she doesn't want to carry them, so she might, again, this was like a man made up this story, so like take it with a pinch of salt, but that he was like, you know, she might say like, oh, my back is sore, would you mind carrying the box? But like her back might not be sore at all, but she just didn't feel like she could like say it outright, like, oh, like I just don't want to carry the boxes, like, will you carry them? And it's like, because we literally have not taught to be direct, because it comes across as like offensive or assertive, and like the worst thing a woman can be is assertive and straightforward, and like we're literally not taught this growing up, so we actually feel then that we need to lie. Like the example, you know, that your man was going on about, it was like, he's like, you know, like, she's a liar, she had a back problem, but she actually doesn't. But it's like, why do you think she felt the need to lie? Like, why do you think she couldn't just say, oh, like, you know, and be direct and be honest and just say, like, I just don't want to carry these boxes? And there's just no kind of digging into the deeper reasons of why we might feel like we need to lie about stuff, because we don't feel like we can actually ask direct questions, because very often we're punished. Like we actually feel the need to make up a different excuse or make up something, but then we're punished for that. So it's insane. I think what's also really sad about this, and as I kind of mentioned before, is like women don't trust women as a result. Like, we've all internalized this. We've all internalized that women are sneaky and liars, and like women then don't trust other women, and it's so sad. And like one thing I saw a few years ago that was just like, that makes total sense, that was just like, it's in like the patriarchy, honestly, favor for us to be fighting amongst each other, because then if we're fighting amongst each other, we think we're the problem, and we won't fight back against the patriarchy and men who are actually the problem. And it's kind of like, you know, when like governments blame like refugees or something for like taking all the jobs, or like for the fact that you're on minimum wage, and it's like, that's not the refugees who are doing that, that's the government who hasn't made enough jobs, and who hasn't like raised the minimum wage in 15 years. Like, that's, and they make people fight amongst each other so that they actually will be too busy to fight against people who are actually the problem. And it's so sad, because so many just female friendships, I feel, are ruined by this, or just don't reach where they really could be, because we're so suspicious of each other, because we've just been raised to see other women as a threat, and it's like not trust each other and think they're lying, and it's just so sad. And again, that's just the narrative that's been spun. It's not true. It's just literally the narrative that we've been told, and it's so sad, and it's just one that we really need to just do away with. I couldn't not mention the next one, because so when I was researching for this video, I googled, I just searched, you know, women lying, or, you know, why do we not trust women, all this stuff, and this red pill video came up, and like it's so confusing. I still don't even fully know what this whole red pill thing is about, but it's basically, I think, this community on Reddit that just basically hates women. That's what it is, and it's a thing. Just Google red pill, it's actually horrific. It's really traumatizing, actually. But I saw this video, and it was about this guy, and again, they're really convincing, and they're really, like, if you watch this enough, you would actually start to really believe all this, which is why it's so dangerous. But he's talking about like back in like the cave times and stuff, that like women, it's our DNA to be manipulative, and that's the word he kept using, because to be safe back in the day, like we weren't the men, we didn't have the strength to fight off attackers or animals or whatever, so we had to rely on other things. So we had to be manipulative, like we had to lie to get out of dangerous situations, we had to trick people to get out of dodgy situations. And now and it's just been passed down the line, so it's actually in our DNA. This is what he was saying now, oh my God, to be manipulative. And again, I have absolutely no science. I don't know, he didn't even say his sources where he got that, just talking, just absolute. But I just thought it was so interesting, and it sounds so convincing. And again, I don't even know whether that's true or not. Like, if it is, interesting, but like, I don't know. But I thought that was really, really interesting what he said, and just actually just appalling. But who knows? I have no idea if that's true or not, but I just thought I'd put it in. It's interesting, and just, these are the kind of things that these incels are learning to make them just hate women even more. And it's just like, oh God, I just don't even know what to say. And then I want to talk really about just like sexual assault and rape, because I think this is just one of the biggest examples of where not trusting women comes into play, and where it is so, so, so dangerous and so sad. Men are the ones that are raping women and attacking women and sexually assaulting women, and other men actually. And so it's in their favor to spin the narrative that women are liars. It literally benefits them, because if they go around raping women and simultaneously saying that women are liars, when women then come forward and say, okay, you raped me or you sexually assaulted me, they're not believed, because women lie. And it's just this vicious cycle, and it's so damaging. And it's like, if you read any stats anywhere, like, we know this happens. We know that literally only like 10% of things are reported. We know this happens on a daily basis. And yet we still don't believe women when they come forward. It is mind-blowing, because this notion that women lie is so ingrained into us, and it's so deep. It is so dangerous. And like, the most honestly mind-blowing thing I saw recently on this, which has just really backed up my, just kind of validated me basically. And like, if anyone comes forward now, like, I already jump to believing them, and I don't care, honestly, I don't care what anyone says. I jump to believing them straight away. If for no other reason than nobody else is believing them, I'm gonna be one person in their corner to back them up. But this thing I saw recently just really validates that, and just makes it make complete sense. And it was like, if you choose to believe a woman coming forward about a rape or sexual assault or whatever, you have a very low chance of like, statistically, like, we know this statistically, like, lies about sexual assault and rape or whatever are the exact same as lying about being burgled or anything, any other crime. There is no higher lying rate for these crimes. And people, you know what, you always hear that people are always like, oh, like, just, you know, like, what about, you know, the false claims? Like, the false claims about sexual assault are no different to false claims about anything else. And so, like, we have this, it's like maximum 10% of claims that come forward are lies. Like, it's literally actually much lower than that. It's because we actually there's so many claims that we don't even know about. Like, it's that real claims. It's insane. So statistically, if you believe a woman coming forward, you have a statistically very low chance of believing a liar. And again, statistically, if you choose to believe the man she's accusing or the perpetrator, you have a statistically very high chance of believing a liar. Like, when we know that at least 90% of all claims are true, statistically, if you believe the man, you have a very high chance of believing a liar. Like, he probably did it. And that's just where I'm at. And that really just honestly validates me and backs me up. And I'm just like, these aren't just like facts and figures we've made up. We know men do this, and we know that women don't lie about this stuff. Like, we have the stats to back it up. And I'm just like, I am choosing to believe this woman because she's more than likely, like several times more than likely, telling the truth. And if he's saying he did it, then again, statistically, he is more than likely not telling the truth and being a lie. And I'm just not about that life. Like, I'm just going to believe her straight away. And you can disagree with that, or you can do whatever with that, but that's where I'm at. And I think that's just so important to say. And I feel so strongly on that. And it's just insane. Just again, this narrative that has been spun that women lie, particularly with sexual assault. And of course, it's in men's favor for us to be considered liars such as well, so that they can continue to get away with it for centuries and centuries to come. Women don't lie about this thing. Why would women lie about this? Honestly, tell me. I'm done. It's also insane when, like, women are told that like we can't be sluts, we can't be sexually active, we can't be promiscuous, but then when we like hold back or we don't want to be too forward because we've been like punished for that in the past, we're then called teases. And then again, not trusted, because it's like, what do you want? You're a tease, and again, not trusted, and again, punished. So again, just can't win either way. And that's, the word tease just makes me so angry. And I've been called a tease in the past, and I am so not about that life. I am done. If anyone ever tried to call me that, I'd just be like, oh no, sir. And again, this whole like, oh, like when women say they have headaches before sex, it's like, you're punishing your girlfriend or your partner or a woman, whatever, for having a headache, but like, why? And they're saying that she's lying about it, but it's like, okay, instead of getting mad about her lying about having a headache, why do you think she doesn't want to have sex with you? Like, maybe focus on that instead. Like, why do you think she feels the need to lie and say she has a headache? Like, why are you like actively parading around that your girlfriend or your partner does not want to have sex with you? That's embarrassing. Like, why would you want people to know that? And like, why do you not care enough to think about the deeper reason of why she feels the need to lie? Like, that's where my head goes when I hear that. Like, instead of being like, they're just lying, it's like, but why do you? And there's no awareness. It's that one just, yeah, again, grinds my gears. And then to top it all off, it's just so funny that like, and again, vast generalization, like so many men are really lovely and perfect, but it's like men actually lie, like a lot. Like men lie a lot. And they don't have that narrative about them. But women do. It is so insane. Like men actually are the liars. But no one thinks that. And again, we have just so much proof to back that up. But again, that narrative is never spun that way because they are the ones spinning the narrative. They're the ones in power. They are judges in courtrooms. They are the politicians. They own the big giant companies. They run the big giant companies. They own the big media conglomerates. They literally write and spin the narrative because they are in charge of everything. So it's just hilarious that they actually lie. But yet, women are liars, apparently. So what is my solution? Honestly, just trust women. Just think about all, and then there are so many different areas in the ones I've mentioned that where we just do not trust women, or we just try to poke holes in their arguments, or we just think like, oh, I don't know now. And it's like, no, I actually know. You know, I actually do know. Just trust women. Just really go out into the world and trust them. Whether you're a woman or a man watching this, go trust women. Just obviously, but like, as you would with anyone else, like take everything with a pinch of salt, you know? But do not have the standard be distrust. Like if you want to maintain a healthy level of skepticism, just do it with everyone. But don't have your baseline with women in particular be that you don't trust them. Because it's not fair, and it shouldn't be that way. It's not true. Women aren't liars. And again, if they do lie, try and think about, instead of punishing them straight away, try and think about the reason why you think they need to lie, because it probably is very different to what you're thinking of. And again, like, some women will lie. Like, not all women, hashtag not all women, are amazing people. Like, some people will lie just because they are pathological liars. Just like some men lie. Like that's not necessarily because of their gender. They could just be bad people. So again, if a woman lies to you, or cheats on you, or whatever, don't tarnish all women with that same brush, because it's simply just not, it's not factual. It's just not the right thing to do. So that is this video, a long chatty one, but I really want you all to think about just trust women. I'm just all about trusting women. Just have that be your baseline. Trust women and see how you get on. Your life will be a lot easier. You'll be a lot less paranoid. You'll be a lot more open to people, and it'll just be nicer. So yeah. Hopefully you got something from this video, and just, let me know if you go out into the world and trust women, how you get on. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, do the bell thingy, all that jazz, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much, and have a lovely week. Bye!